All right, let's get right into it. We are all swimming in a sea of Wi-Fi signals, pretty much 24/7. We use them for everything, connecting, working, streaming. But what if those same invisible waves were doing something else? Something a lot more.
So here's a question for you, and it's going to sound like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Can your Wi-Fi, the little box blinking in the corner of your room, actually see you?
Well, according to a whole bunch of new research, the answer is a big, fat, resounding yes. And get this, it doesn't just see some blurry outline. It can see you with so much detail that it can actually identify you, just by the way you walk.
And no, this isn't some far-off future tech. This is happening right now, probably with the kind of router you already have at home. So let's pull back the curtain and see how this secret superpower actually works. It all comes down to something called channel state information, or CSI for short. The easiest way to think about it is this. Imagine the Wi-Fi in a room is like a perfectly still, invisible pool of water. Now, as soon as you walk into that room, your body creates disturbances, little ripples in that Wi-Fi pool. CSI is just the super precise measurement of those ripples. It sees exactly how the signals bounce off you, get absorbed by you, and scatter around you.
And you might think you need some kind of crazy military-grade gear for this, right? Nope. That's the amazing part. As you can see right here, researchers are doing this with stuff you can literally buy off the shelf. A normal Wi-Fi router, a laptop, and then the special software to make sense of all those signals. So, the process itself is pretty simple, at least in theory. Step 1, a receiver, like a laptop, just grabs all the raw Wi-Fi signal data, all those tiny disturbances. Step 2, it cleans up that signal, filtering out all the random noise from other devices. And then, step 3, the magic happens. Special algorithms sift through those clean disturbances to spot patterns, identifying everything from you walking across the room to something as small as your chest moving as you breathe.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds a little bit creepy. And yeah, it is. But the potential for this to be a force for good is honestly incredible. It could completely change the way we look after people.
Just look at healthcare. This is a total game changer. Imagine monitoring a patient's breathing, their heart rate, without ever needing to attach a single wire to them. That became absolutely crucial during the COVID pandemic. They even developed systems like Y-COVID that could track patients in real time using just a cheap Raspberry Pi. It is so sensitive, it can even pick up on the tiny facial movements that might show if a person is in pain or feeling a certain emotion.
And it's not just about health. This technology is creating a whole new kind of biometrics. Your gait, the specific rhythm and style of how you walk, is actually as unique as your fingerprint. And as you walk, you create this Wi-Fi signature that can be recognized. There are already systems that can identify you just from that signature, just from the way you move. And just how accurate are we talking? Well, one system, called Gait ID, was able to correctly identify which person was walking out of a group of 5 with 93.2% accuracy. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't just a vague guess. It's a really reliable way to identify someone using nothing but invisible radio waves.
A research paper from 2022 really summed it up perfectly, saying this tech provides, quote, a powerful medical information package in a non-invasive way and at low cost. It's this beautiful vision of a future where technology helps keep us safe and healthy. But there's always a but, isn't there? Because the very same principle that can be used to care for you can also be used to watch you. So let's flip the coin and look at the dark side of this data, how it enables a brand new and totally invisible kind of surveillance.
It all starts with something your phone is doing right this second. It's sending out what are called Wi-Fi probe requests. They're basically little pings shouting out into the world, hey, is my home Wi-Fi around here? How about my work network? And each one of those pings contains your phone's unique serial number, its MAC address, and often the names of places you've been before.
And I have to stress, this is not some theoretical what-if scenario. This has already happened. In one really shocking study, researchers went to big political rallies in Italy and just listened. They collected all those public probe requests to see what they could figure out about the people in the crowd.
Now, this is where it gets absolutely wild. They analyzed those signals to see if they could actually predict who would win the election. So take a look at Rome. By analyzing the phones at the rallies, they figured out the ratio of support between the two main parties was 1.23. The official election result ratio, 1.22. I mean, that is almost a perfect match. And you can see the same thing happen in Milan, in Naples. They could basically call the election just by listening to the Wi-Fi signals coming from people's pockets.
So, as you can probably guess, this has kicked off a kind of invisible arms race. On one side, you have tech companies trying to build in privacy protections, and on the other, you have trackers finding clever new ways to get around them.
The main defense your phone has is called MAC address randomization. It tries to be sneaky, using a fake, temporary MAC address when it sends out those probe requests so it can't be easily identified. But the attackers have a countermove. They use other tiny imperfections in the Wi-Fi signal, little quirks that are unique to your phone's hardware, to create a fingerprint. And with that fingerprint, they can see right through the fake address and find the real you anyway.
Now, of course, this hasn't gone unnoticed. Governments and data protection authorities, like these ones from Spain and all over Europe, are now scrambling to write new rules. Things like GDPR are trying to get a handle on this, but it's a constant game of catch-up with the technology.
All of this brings us to a really fundamental crossroads, a big choice we have to make about our digital future. Because this tech is here, it works, and it's only getting more and more powerful.
And if you need any more proof of just how powerful, get a load of this. A recent system, which researchers called Wi-Fi, uses that same body sensing method we talked about earlier. No phone needed at all. Its reported accuracy in picking one specific person out of a crowd, a jaw-dropping 95.5%. This isn't a problem for the future. It's very much a problem for today.
So let's just lay out the risks here, plain and simple. First, even when data is supposedly anonymous, it can often be traced back to you. Second, where you go can reveal a ton of sensitive stuff, like if you're visiting a certain clinic or a political headquarters. Third, just knowing you might be tracked can make you change your behavior, a kind of self-censorship that can chill free expression. And of course, a data breach would be catastrophic, exposing the private movements of thousands.
So here we are. At the end of the day, we're left with this incredible technology. It offers us convenience, it offers us life-saving care, but it also opens the door to an unprecedented level of control and surveillance. The question we have to answer isn't if our Wi-Fi can see us. It already can. The real question is, what are we going to tell it to look for?